Tornadoes, one of the most destructive forces in nature, with the power to destroy lives not only in the real world, but digitally as well. This harrowing weather phenomenon has become a lucrative enterprise for storm chasers and content rights management companies alike, with Mafia-style standover tactics employed in order to protect it. While storm chasing back in the day was done purely for the educational aspect and to protect the lives of the public, today it is a very different landscape. Hello people of Weather Report, long time no see. This is for a reason in which we are going to explain in this video. Yes, I am Australian, and yes, this is my real voice. I am the creator behind Weather Report. I did not want to make this video, however, I feel like it needs to be made. There is a lot of things that happen behind the scenes with YouTube channels which the general public would never actually see. This video will expose some of the terrible tactics that some companies are using against YouTube channels, such as mine, in order to extort them out of money. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Tornadoes have long been a fascination for many people. The raw power, the sound, the look. It strikes fear and intrigue in many of us. As our technology has improved, so has our understanding of forecasting these deadly weather events and capturing them on camera. Official tornado record keeping only began in 1950, and many tornadoes before that date went completely undocumented. Cameras back then were very different to what we have today, and the chances of someone having one on them and capturing an image of a tornado was extremely rare. Video cameras were not widely available to the public until 1983, when the first consumer level camera from Sony, called the Betamovie BMC 100P, was released. It used a Betamax cassette and rested on the operator's shoulder due to a design not permitting a single-handed grip. This is considered by many as the start of the digital age, as other products like the Nintendo Famicom, or otherwise known as the Nintendo Entertainment System, were released. By the 1990s, video cameras were becoming even more portable. While the quality of these video cameras would have been far inferior to a modern phone camera, many individuals actually took the time to learn how to shoot good quality video, not the shaking, stomach churning, portrait format videos of the current YouTube generation. Having the portability of cameras would mean that the tornadoes were starting to be captured on video more than ever, and some of these videos would advance our understanding of what makes tornadoes so deadly and destructive. As the year 2000 would hit, camera phones were starting to make their way into the market, and a new age of capturing content was born. YouTube would first make its appearance in late 2005, and many people would use the platform to share their extreme footage. In the early days of YouTube, there was almost no restriction on what you could post on the platform. TV shows and movies were being downloaded from the popular program LimeWire and then re-uploaded to the site for other people to enjoy. YouTube was bought by Google just a year after its launch for $1.65 billion, and it would skyrocket into popularity. It wasn't long after this that the Japanese Society for Rights of Authors, Composers and Publishers successfully issued DMCA takedown requests for more than 30,000 pieces of content on the platform. Shortly thereafter, Comedy Central filed a complaint for copyright infringement, resulting in the removal of its content from the platform. YouTube had to change the way in which it operated, and in 2008 it would release a 3-strike policy. This would mean you can get 3 strikes for using copyrighted material before your channel would face termination from the platform. Termination would mean that your channel and everything included in it would be permanently deleted. There have been some minor tweaks to this system over the years, but the 3-strike policy still remains in place to this day. While in essence this system seems fair and reasonable, it is being used in a way that is both unethical and downright disturbing. While the 3-strike policy is still in place on YouTube, it is still governed by copyright law. Part of the copyright law has the following stipulation. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favour of fair use. Now, if we break this down, it essentially means that copyrighted material can be used if you are criticising it, commenting on it like a reaction video, news reporting, teaching, scholarship and research. It also adds that if you are using this material for an educational purpose, that it is tipped in the balance of fair use, meaning that by law, you are allowed to use copyrighted materials. This seems like a very straightforward law. Well, it isn't. What constitutes fair use and what doesn't is essentially only in the eyes of the law and would be up to a court to decide. Let's say, for instance, you're in your backyard, you're filming your dog, and there is some background music playing. You upload this to YouTube, you could get hit with a copyright takedown request. What this means is that YouTube will remove it from the platform. Now, let's say, for instance, you claim I was using it under fair use because I was in the backyard, I was playing with my dog, and there was no copyright intended. It is personal use. Well, this is where it gets complicated. The company or individual has every right to now take you to court and seek damages for using their copyrighted material. The decision would now be on you whether you fight them in court or not. Either way, proving your case will likely end in a legal battle costing tens of thousands of dollars, with the only winner really being the lawyers who will fill their pockets for the money. There are many creators on YouTube who make severe weather content. You will find that most of the popular creators such as Pico's Hank, Reed Timmer and the like have digital rights management companies that look after their content. Some of these organisations are Viral DRM or WX Chasing, just to name two. Quite often the individuals themselves are out chasing storms and don't have the time to manage things on YouTube, understandably. And this is where these companies come into play. If one of these companies identifies a piece of content that you've used that belongs to them, they have two ways that they can go about it. The first way, and the most common way, is by issuing a content ID claim. If you have even 1 second of somebody else's footage in your video and they put a content ID claim on it, even if the video was 1 hour long and you'd only use 1 second, they would claim all of the money from that video. It would just go straight to them and you would not get a single cent. This is the way most people prefer to do business because then they get the money from all of the views on your video. Makes sense, right? The other option is by issuing a copyright takedown request. By issuing one of these against you, it will give your channel one copyright strike and also remove the video from the platform. And this is where the shady business dealings using YouTube's own systems start to come into effect. You may have realised that we haven't posted any videos for the past 3 months and the rest of our videos were hidden. That was for a reason. We were hit with 2 copyright takedown requests, one from Viral DRM claiming that we used some of Pico's Hank's footage, which when I looked at it, I can't find the footage anywhere in the video that they claimed. Secondly, we were hit with a copyright request from Reed Timmer's team regarding some footage from the 1999 Bridge Creek Mall tornado. While we take every effort to make sure that the footage we have is licensed, there is a reason that this can happen, which we will explain in more detail later. We reached out to the 2 companies involved to see if we could resolve the issue. Firstly, we contacted Viral DRM and received this response. Considering the content did not appear in our video at all, it was a very surprising reply. But what you'll learn later, it makes sense why they sent this reply. So we went ahead and contacted Reed Timmer's team. After some back and forth, they finally sent us over this figure. In the end, they were after about $15,000 US for under 2 minutes of grainy, blurry footage from 1999, of which there is over an hour of other footage on YouTube with superior video quality and audio quality. This would mean that they value the footage at about $136 per second. Apart from filming a president in an unfaithful encounter, I don't know what sort of person would get off on demanding that sort of money for that sort of video clip. In order to recover that money alone, you need to get around 10 to 15 million views on YouTube, more than this entire channel has ever had. A follow-up email would finally clear things up as to what their real intentions were. Companies like Viral DRM and many others are attempting to monopolize the severe weather market on YouTube. You are either in with their mafia or you aren't. The tactics they use are similar to those used by the mafia against shop owners back in the day. Pay a huge amount of money or we will destroy you. It is a disturbing and inhuman way to conduct business. I have several insiders in the severe weather community which keep me informed about certain things. While I won't list their names for obvious reasons, one thing they've shared with me was that there is a group chat involving all severe weather rights holders. What happens when these people find a channel which they believe they can target, they all try and hit it with copyright strikes simultaneously, so that it forces the channel into an unrecoverable situation, where they'll either have to deal with them, pay thousands and thousands if not tens of thousands of dollars, or watch all of their hard work get deleted in seconds. This is the exact reason why we were hit from Viral DRM, even though I had not used any of their content. YouTube doesn't really check these copyright takedown requests, and these companies use it to their advantage. If I then submit a counter request to their takedown request, it initiates a legal process that will likely end up in court. Much like the shop owners that got stood over by the mafia back in the day and had their businesses burned to the ground for not complying, I am a family man, much the same as these people were. I have a wife, 2 kids, and I work full time in the IT industry. Making content on this channel was something I did purely as a hobby in my spare time. I enjoy tornadoes, and I enjoy telling the story about some of the most significant events in history. As much as I'd love to fight these people and stand up for what is right, I also have to look after my family's best interests too. Spending potentially months in court fighting the large legal teams of these weather mafia companies is not something I really want for my family. Now, with all of this talk about copyright takedown requests and going to court, the easiest way to avoid copyright is purely not to use someone else's footage, right? While that is correct, the severe weather mafia have employed some devious strategies in order to catch people like myself out. On YouTube, there is a way of sharing your content so that other people are able to use it, and this is known as Creative Commons. In the description of a video, you will find if a video is able to be used under this license, which would allow you to use it free of copyright. What these companies have done is created fake burner accounts where they upload a piece of footage and set the license to Creative Commons. Some of this footage has been on the platform for years, and you wonder, why hasn't it been taken down yet? It is put there as bait. Unassuming people who believe it is copyright free use it in their video. Then when the weather mafia finds them, they hit them with several copyright strikes and attempt to extort them out of thousands of dollars, or have their channel destroyed. If they successfully get 3 strikes on your channel, the demand is usually upwards of $50,000 US, or they'll have your channel deleted. These are the kind of shady mafia-like tactics these people are resorting to, and it is sickening. The clip that I used that belonged to Reed Timmer came from one of these burner accounts, which I hadn't realised at the time. Obviously, I was then hit with a $15,000 US bill for believing what I was using was fairly licensed. Even after offering to remove or even blur the section out of the video, these people were more interested in destroying my channel rather than coming to some sort of agreement. The only improvement that YouTube has made to the copyright system was that they would make copyright strikes expire after 90 days, hence why this channel has been in the state it has been for the past 3 months. I was planning on putting out a community post, however, I decided that this video would explain it better than any post ever could. Let me introduce you to Daniel Shaw, the National News Director at Severe Weather Australia. Severe Weather Australia, or otherwise known as SWA, is another content management company based in Australia. These people are affiliated with some of the previously mentioned rights management companies located in the USA. I had previously dealt with this guy several years ago over licensing some footage. Being a National News Director, you would expect a man like this to have some integrity, right? You would be wrong. I had paid Daniel Shaw to license a specific bit of footage, whilst at the same time I was dealing with other individuals over in the USA to license some other footage. Because of the transaction I'd made with SWA and Daniel Shaw, they obtained access to my name, address and contact details. The next thing I know, I'm receiving emails from people in the USA quoting my name and location. When I contacted my insiders, they had shown me screenshots from the group chat that these content management companies are in, where Daniel had gone and leaked all of my personal information. You wouldn't expect to walk into a Walmart and have a person at the front of the store start yelling out your name, address of where you live, and your phone number, would you? This is essentially what this guy did, and when I contacted him about it, he did not care in the slightest. Because of this, I immediately charged back the PayPal payment I had made to him and SWA for around 850 Australian dollars after I was made aware of what he had done. He then had the tenacity to try and contest it, claiming that he had every right to take the money, even though he had not provided a license to the footage and leaked all of my personal information to thousands of people. After a lengthy process, PayPal obviously investigated it and found it in my favour, as his lies and deceit eventually caught up with him. I would then proceed to email Severe Weather Australia, asking them what was going to be done about this person who seemed to have no regard whatsoever about people's privacy. I was met with a wall of silence, as all the employees of the company put their head in the sand and pretended like it had never happened. An official privacy complaint was lodged with the Australian government, which after 12 months of investigation, the end result was this company earns less than $3 million per year, so it's not worth us going after them with our legal team. Because the government couldn't make a substantial amount of money by prosecuting them, the end result was the same as the people at Severe Weather Australia. Just pretend like it never happened. SWA looks after the content rights of some of Australia's most popular storm chasing groups, and if they manage your content, I would encourage you to distance yourself from a company that operates with absolutely no regard for customer privacy whatsoever. The twisted irony about this story is that Daniel Shaw also runs a YouTube channel in which he actually talks about rights management and, of all things, privacy and how to protect it. Who would have thought? Storm chasers used to be about protecting the community and researching and learning more about tornadoes. These days it's a cutthroat business, with everyone fighting each other for the chance to get that perfect shot that will make them thousands of dollars. While many of them claim this is justified because of the danger they put themselves in, no one is forcing you to drive into a tornado. If you are that truly concerned about the danger to your safety, you could easily just get a job at McDonald's, where the biggest threat to your health would be consuming the food that you would make. The reason they do it is for the money, plain and simple. Most storm chasing content you will find on YouTube is simply a media dump of what they recorded at the time, with no context, no editing or education provided. The reason people like myself pose a threat to these individuals is that we make content that is engaging and educational. We can include motion graphics, maps, data like wind speed, cape, tornado tracks, damage paths, and the like. They want to stamp out content like this because it makes their media dump content look second rate, which in turn hurts their bottom line. Maybe if you focus your energy into making better content, instead of coming up with new devious ways of trying to extort people out of money, you wouldn't have to worry about these people, right? As I stated earlier, I'm just a regular guy. I've got kids, I've got a wife. I just spend my spare time researching and trying to make engaging content. The reason I voice this over myself is that I felt I needed to. I am by no means a professional voiceover artist. As you can probably tell, my setup is not indicative of someone who does this for a living. I just tried my best with what I have, and hopefully that's good enough for you guys. What I love most about running this channel is going through the comments and reading some of the incredible stories from people who have lived through this deadly weather phenomenon. The stories that have been told that may have never been heard before truly blow me away. Community spirit seems to shine through during these events, as people pull together and help each other in ways that would never normally happen. Weather Mafia has no concern for these people. They would like nothing more than to destroy everything on this channel at the first chance they could get. These amazing stories would disappear, potentially forever, never to be heard again. I have no problem paying people for their content if I happen to use it unfairly. I am not against copyright at all. People deserve to have their content protected under law. What I am against is using YouTube's internal systems to manipulate people. Personally, I'd rather be on the right side of copyright. instead of having to deal with all of this. I'm not setting out deliberately trying to take people's content. I try to make sure everything is obtained fairly and used for educational purposes, so it can tell the story of what happened in these tornadoes. The irony about all of this, I actually had a job offer from these people some time ago to produce content for their channels. The people that are actively working so hard to destroy me are also trying to employ me. What a bizarre world we live in. While I did entertain the idea at the time, nothing really further came from it. I would still potentially do something like this in the future if the opportunity arose, as the quality of most of those channels could be improved significantly. So where does it leave this channel? Currently, I don't really know. Do I still make content for this channel or not? If I do, I may have to substantially alter or change the way in which I do it. I'll take the community's feedback into consideration before I make my choice. No other channel I know of on YouTube would have had the balls to make this video and expose the underhanded tactics that these disgraceful people are using. While I also considered shelving the idea, I felt like it was my duty to make sure that people are aware of what is happening behind the scenes. I did not particularly enjoy making this, and you won't ever see another video like this again on this channel. But at least people know the truth. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon.